Hi guys, Richard Butler, Director of Education here at PLR.me. As a busy professional, you want to be able to engage your audience with high quality resources that you can share on a regular basis. But one of the challenges can be knowing what to share when. So here at PLR.me, what we did was we looked at the holidays for each month, and then we found content relevant to those holidays, and we linked everything together to make it easier for you to find the content that you need to engage your audience. So this month is November, and we have quite a few holidays, and I'm going to focus in on a number of holidays for the first 2 weeks of November. These include World Vegan Day, Common Sense Day, Chaos Never Dies Day, Veterans Day, World Diabetes Day, and International Day for Tolerance. And on each of those days, I'm going to show you a number of resources and give you some hints and tips on how you can actually use those resources in your business. So without further ado, let's talk about the first holiday. November 1st is World Vegan Day. Now, what is it that over the last couple of calendars we've always talked about food? It's interesting, and it's a topic I love, because back in October we did have World Food Day. Now, a lot of people are deciding to check out the vegan lifestyle or to see what it is all about, because they don't like cruelty to animals, they want to have better health, and they want to know what the vegan lifestyle is about. So today you can give some information about that. And what better way to engage your audience by asking a question? And the question you can ask today is, does an apple a day keep the doctor away? And as you see, we have a resource for that particular question. Now you could do this a number of ways. You could ask people, do they know the origin of that particular phrase? I remember when I was a kid, I used to always hear that, and I never knew whether it was true. But you could ask people, is it true? What other fruit or vegetables do they feel are really good for nutrition and good for their bodies? And get people to share their ideas and get a conversation going in your Facebook group or in a forum or on a Facebook Live even. Now, that leads us really nicely into the next resource, Ancient Superfoods. And this resource talks to us about different superfoods that can actually be very, very good for our body and give us many vitamins and nutritional value. So you could take one of those superfoods and you could then talk about it maybe one a day, or you could do a webinar where you talk about all of these superfoods, and you could get a couple of experts in, somebody talking about nutrition, maybe somebody talking about how to cook with these superfoods, and you could make this into a very, very enjoyable experience. Again, the idea is to try and help you think of different ideas of how you can use this content and not just think that it is a resource just to download. Think about how you can break up that content and create something even more interesting to make you stand out as the authority in your field. Now, November 4th is Common Sense Day. The problem with common sense is it's not that common. And it's actually true, because a lot of the times we do things that don't make sense and we know we should have done them a different way. So you could start today by asking your audience, well, what common sense tips do you have? And perhaps what common sense tips you have not adhered to and what have been the results. For example, I could start with saying, well, I know that I shouldn't put a fork into a toaster to try and take out bits of toast or bread, but sometimes I'm like, and then I stop just before I have a shocking experience. Common sense tells me I shouldn't do that, but sometimes I do it. Common sense says I shouldn't touch a light switch when my hands are wet, but sometimes I forget. Ask your audience about these tips, and then you could build them into a story. Now, talking about stories, we actually have a fable that you could also talk about today. And of course, fables are stories that have been passed down from generation to generation, but would always have a moral in them. So today we have the Wise Young Owl fable. And you could use this as a podcast. You could talk about it on a webinar, on a Facebook Live, and you could ask people for their feedback. Now, when you ask people for feedback, it's also a way of surveying your tribe and getting their input. So people can tell you what they're struggling with when it comes to common sense. Now, sometimes the problem is that people don't value their own common sense. So you've just surveyed your audience by asking them what are their common sense tips. Now you could provide them with this resource, which is a reflection entitled, I value my common sense. Because you see, a lot of the times we don't value our own common sense. So this would be an ideal way to finish off today. Now, common sense tells me that I need to tell you about our bundles. And our bundles are, well, they're bundles of content, surprise, surprise, that we've put together for each day of the calendar. The idea is that if you want to focus on that particular day and you want all of the resources, we'll actually give you a discount for downloading the bundle. So here you can see on screen that this particular bundle for Common Sense Day would cost 22 credits, but if you download it and purchase it as a bundle, it only costs you 18 credits. So that's saving you 18%. And everybody likes to save, right? And come on, it's common sense. You want to save credits. So download the bundle. Common sense tells me that if I'm organized, I will be less stressed. If I'm less stressed, I'll be happier. And if I'm happier, there will be less chaos in my life. But there are some days when it's like, there's so much stress because the day seems like chaos. I have a client that I was working with and she was always in a state of chaos. She had pieces of paper where she wrote down notes and they got lost, or she put them in the wrong order and it caused her a lot of chaos. We worked on some techniques to organize her life a little bit better. And one of the byproducts of chaos is stress. So our first resource here is habits that alleviate stress and promote harmony in your life. Now, who does not want to relieve stress and have harmony in their life? So I would give this resource away. I would brand it. Remember that if you are a monthly or yearly member, you will get access to our PDF branding tool, which allows you to quickly and easily brand our PDFs with your logo and with your company or website information. Now, you give this away for free. You have a call to action for them to visit a page on your website where you can either give more information or you could use our next resource. Because you see, the problem is that you're probably thinking, okay, well, habits to alleviate stress, but what habits? What can I do next? Well, we've got you covered on that because our next resource is 25 ways to alleviate stress. So you give away the resource on habits to alleviate stress and promote harmony. And then what you do is you have a call to action saying, if you'd like to learn 25 ways to alleviate stress, click here. They go to your website. This could be a lead capture page where you actually give them the 25 ways once they sign up with their email address, or you could say, join me on my webinar where I discuss the 25 ways to alleviate stress. By doing this, you're moving people along from just being a lead to a prospect to a potential customer. You could also take one or two of the 25 tips, post it on social media, and then lead people to your landing page. There's plenty of ideas here, and what we want to do is we want to ignite that thought process so that you think, okay, well, what can I actually do with this content? One of the questions I often get asked is, Richard, I found a really good piece of content, but it's not for my target audience. What can I do? Well, here's an example. For working moms, calm the chaos with these time management techniques. It's an excellent resource, but I'm an executive business coach. How can I use this? Well, you could change it easily to executive working moms, calming the chaos with these time management techniques. Or if you don't work with female executives and it's male executives, you could just change it to a generic topic, which would be busy executives, instead of saying working moms are female executives. Then you go in, you obviously change the title of the report, but you go in and you look at the content and you just tweak it so that it is more geared for business executives. Now, some of the content may be relevant in the sense that if they have families, the challenge of juggling children and family commitments, etc. But always think that, well, this resource could be easily changed. And that is the idea behind PLR.me, to help you understand that resources can be changed with the title, with the graphics, and with the content to suit your audience. Don't say, oh, well, that's just for working moms. It's not relevant for my audience. Yes, it is relevant for your audience. You just have to make it that little bit more relevant. Now, November 11th is Veterans Day, and this is obviously a very important holiday in the United States. And if you're not based in the United States, you can still use this holiday to promote content. You can talk about community, serving your community, helping your neighbors, and asking the question, well, are you a good citizen? So I have two resources I want to show you today. The first one is 10 simple ways to connect with your neighbors. You see, we're in a hyper-connected world, but sometimes it feels that we're not actually connected at all. So you could help your tribe become a champion in their neighborhood by connecting with their neighbors, by organizing maybe a street party, by organizing a group to look after the elderly people within the neighborhood, etc. But you could come up with ideas, or again, ask your tribe for ideas that they may have implemented that could be used by other people. You could also either start or finish this day with asking the question, are you a good citizen? Answer these top 10 questions to find out. Everybody wants to be a good citizen, but what does it mean to be a good citizen? Well, this could start a very good conversation or debate or a topic for a webinar where you could ask people. This is a way of helping your tribe, but also gaining valuable feedback so that you can see where you could actually help people. You ask a question such as, which of these applies to you? And one of the questions might be, I need to be more tolerant towards my neighbors. Well, then you could maybe produce more information about being tolerant with your neighbors, or how to actually get on with your neighbors if maybe they're not the easiest people to get on with. And this will tie into our last holiday of International Day for Tolerance. We started with World Vegan Day, and last month I talked about World Food Day. And today, November 14th, we have World Diabetes Day. Unfortunately, diabetes is something that is becoming more and more commonplace. And this could be attributed to changes in lifestyle or people consuming more food that mightn't be the best for their bodies. So you could tie this back to Vegan Day. And you could also look at this day in relation to, for example, general exercise, that people should make sure that they're a healthy weight. So we have a course here that would be very, very useful today, and it's called Losing Weight, Cutting Calories Made Easy. Now, I don't know about you, but I like the word easy because I don't want to be in the gym 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not me. So if something is easy, I want to know about it. Now, the next thing that you could say is, Richard, I couldn't create a course. Well, we also have resources for you on this, where you can go to our learning section where I actually show you how to take PLR.me content and produce a course. Now, again, just because it's a course doesn't mean it has to be delivered by you as a course. You could set this up as an offline seminar where you take the PowerPoints and you present this to people. This would be an excellent way of building your authority within your local area. You could do this as an online webinar, taking one topic a week, charge people, let's say, $197 to attend. Now remember, if you're doing an offline seminar, if you're doing an online webinar or group coaching, record these sessions, because then that can be used as another product that you can sell, which are the replays. So we always need to think, how can we repurpose the content? If you create a video, you can always extract the audio and use that as a podcast, or add the recordings to the package that you're selling for people. So here's a little plan for you. You have an online webinar, you charge $197 for live attendance with recordings included. Then a few weeks after the webinar, you offer the recordings of the webinar for $97, and you add a bonus, which is the audio version of the webinar, so you can download it onto your smartphone and take it with you on your commute or when you go to the gym. It only takes a couple of minutes to extract the audio from a video, but it gives a higher perceived value to people. And then if you wanted to add even more value, you could give a transcription of the audio as well, so that people could actually read through the actual webinar. It takes a little bit more effort, but it gives more perceived value, and people think, wow, that's really good. I get the video, I get the audio, and I get the transcription just for $97. That's amazing. So always think about how you can repurpose your content as well. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I've decided to lose a little bit of the holiday weight, which always seems to be there, because if it's not Christmas, it's Easter, and if it's not Easter, it's summer, and if it's not summer, well, it's Halloween, and oh my God, it's Christmas again. But we come up with obstacles to our weight loss. So the final resource for today is overcoming weight loss obstacles. Now, you could use this as an introduction and throw it out to your audience as a question. Do you find there's many obstacles to losing weight? Or have you encountered these 5 obstacles to losing weight? People will immediately say yes, and those are the people you want to target. And then you can provide them with this resource, and then you can use this as a pathway to get them onto your webinar or course about cutting calories, losing weight made easy. So you see how we're making the connections there, and that's really important that you make those connections as well. Now, talking about making connections, November 16th is International Day for Tolerance, and I talked about Veterans Day and maybe talking about community and becoming a better citizen and a better neighbor. So you could connect that holiday with International Day for Tolerance by saying, well, you know, maybe you live in a community where there are people that are a little bit difficult to get on with. how can we become more tolerant? So today we have a number of resources that can help. You could start with this wallpaper, I accept others for who they are, and post that on social media with then a link to your website and maybe some more content about tolerance. But let's be honest, sometimes there are people that just annoy us so much that it's very difficult to be tolerant with them. We're all human and people will annoy us. So how can you become more tolerant? Well, what about this resource here? I am patient and tolerant. It's an affirmation reflection. It has a page of text to read, and then it has questions for you to reflect on. And you could open up to your tribe and say, well, personally, I'm using this myself to become even more tolerant and patient with people. And then you could provide that to them. And I think for this resource, provide it to them for free with all of your branding, of course. Don't forget the PDF brander comes free with your monthly or yearly membership. Just to wrap up, one of the things you always want to do is you always want to make sure that if you're leading people to your website, you have relevant content from the content that they have seen on social media, and that you have some sort of call to action to get them to either contact you for a free discovery call or to sign up for your mailing list so that you capture their contact details. Because this is the whole idea. You're producing this content to get people to like, know, and trust you, and ultimately to convert them into customers. Now, speaking of customers, are you a client of PLR.me yet? If not, why not? We have so much great content for you. We save professionals so much time with our content because we do all the hard work. All you need to do is just get that content out to your audience. And actually, we'd like to invite you to a free account with PLR.me. There's no credit card required. You just sign up with your name and email address, and we'll give you 2 credits each month that you can use to download our resources. And we've plenty of resources that are valued at 1 and 2 credits. If you want to become a full member, you also get access to the PDF brander tool, an auto slide deck tool, an auto content summarizer tool, and many, many more tools and benefits as an actual paid up member. So the competition for this month is to win a 30-minute strategy call with me where we will look at your business and help and guide you in areas that you may not be confident in. So what do you have to do? Well, comment below with the phrase strategy call and outline your number 1 challenge that you have in your business. So this could be, I don't know what a lead capture page is. I don't understand the whole process of a funnel. Or can you give me marketing tips? And we'll randomly select one person. The only thing that we ask is if you're selected, please do turn up for the call, and we will arrange the call at a time that suits both yourself and myself. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Remember that I'm here twice a month with the content marketing videos. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you never miss one of our videos. And please, if you've enjoyed the video, give us a like, share it with your friends. I'll see you next time.